Hello, I'm Mark Floerke, host of the Baked in Science podcast on Bakerpedia, and this is your Wisdom Wednesday. Today, I'd like to talk to you about cakes and share some thoughts and ideas. On Bakerpedia, we have had several different seminars related to cake already, and you can always view these for free on the Bakerpedia website. These cover things like extended shelf life, reducing sugar, replacing eggs, and coming up tomorrow, we have clean label cakes. Cake is actually a very broad term in the baking industry and covers many different variations of the sweet good. Even the term cookie in American English is said to be derived from a Dutch dialect meaning small cake. In North America, when we think of cake, we generally assume a leavened batter high in sugar relative to flour and including oil and eggs. These are most commonly designated as a category by the name of high ratio cake, referring to the sugar ratio. These can be from 100 to 140% sugar in ratio to the amount of wheat flour. These are also a common sweet goods staple in North American supermarkets as an easy to prepare cake mix in a box marketed to consumers. Then there are foam cakes, such as sponge cake and angel food cake. These are quite a bit different from their high ratio cousins, and not only in ingredient ratios, but also preparation methods, shelf life, and application. The basic ratio for a foam sponge cake is 100-60-60. That is 100-60-60. For every 100 grams of eggs, 60 grams of sugar, and 60 grams of flour. No oil and no chemical leavening. Although there is a fair amount of sugar as a humectant, the so-called moist mouthfeel of the high ratio cakes is contributed to greatly by the oil in the formula. Foam cakes are more open and delicate crumb structure, and as the term sponge would indicate, are sponge-like in texture or resilience and absorb liquids well. With layers of sponge cake, it is a common practice to brush or sprinkle the layers with a flavored syrup to moisten and impart a flavor profile specific to the assembled dessert. When the English word cake is translated into other languages, it often does not have the same meaning in that culture. As an example, in German, cake translates to Kuchen, but Kuchen is not a term used for sponge cakes. It means the sweet yeast-raised dough that may be topped with crumbles, almonds and butter, or fresh fruit like prune plums. Even brioche is sometimes thought to be cake-like in sweetness and flavor. Some say that when Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake," she was referring to brioche as a symbol of the bread of the wealthy. Italian immigrants to America in the earliest 20th century brought with them traditions of lean Italian breads and were of the opinion that common sliced white in North America was too much like cake. They would refer to their American sliced white consuming compatriots as mangia cake, meaning cake eaters, referring to the sweet bread. So some interesting stories and thoughts on some of the basic cake groupings. When we set out to formulate or change a formula for a cake, we should also stop a moment and consider what my goals are, what the application is, and what functional ingredients must I bear in mind for optimizing all of this. Reducing sugar might seem as simple as replacing sugar with a high-intensity sweetener, which will remove the amount of sugar needed and reduce calories. However, sugar is a highly functional ingredient beyond only providing sweetness, and that functionality must be replaced as well to optimize results. You can, of course, turn to Bakerpedia to review past seminars on this subject and help get you on the right path for success. When we use the term clean label, it is something we need to decide for ourselves or with our customers for the priorities. There is no legal definition of clean label, and neither FDA or USDA will ever support it, as it cannot be narrowly defined. One of the generally accepted definitions is pantry recognizable ingredients. And then this is where the disagreements can sometimes begin. While sugar is pantry recognizable, and so is corn syrup, some do not consider high fructose corn syrup clean label. Baking powder may be accepted, but sodium bicarbonate, sodium acid pyrophosphate, monocalcium phosphate, same thing in components, may not be accepted as clean label. I have come across instances where xanthan gum is not considered clean label, although naturally produced through fermentation using a natural biomolecule enzyme called xylanase. Where it got its name from? Why? Simply because it has the letter X in the name. As you get ready to embark on your clean label journey, think about the priorities for you and your customers, and sign up and tune in for the Clean Label Cake Seminar tomorrow, Thursday, November 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's it from me today. I'm Mark Floerke, Bakerpedia Baked in Science podcast host, and this has been your Wisdom Wednesday.